On the morning of April 19th, 1995, my tranquility and feelings of security were demolished in one horrific explosion. I, together with millions of other Americans, watched in torment as what had once been the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City collapsed into a mass of smoking ruins. I listened intently to the reports of an obvious terrorist bombing in the United States. My eyes filled with tears as the images of dead children and bloody victims appeared on the television screen. That's from the foreword to the third terrorist, the Middle East connection to the Oklahoma City bombing by Jana Davis. Very good book. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. A couple of things I want to put out there. Number one, the Tobin tax, a tax on financial transactions, which could theoretically produce tremendous amount of revenue for the government. I think that anybody who's interested in some real change that is directed at the financial institutions in this country, which are the only sector of this fucking economy right now which is relatively untouched, because even the banks, the insurance industry, and everybody else who has suffered has just gotten more fucking money from the Treasury and the Federal Reserve to sustain them, to prevent them from going bankrupt, to prevent them from going out of business. So they have received the largesse of this government to keep them in fucking business. They should have to pay their fair share. And their fair share, whatever they're paying now, is not enough. So I support the Tobin tax. I support a tax on financial transactions, every single fucking one of them, no matter what they are. Sell a bond, sell a stock, sell some sort of gargantuan, complicated fucking instrument that you've made up, some derivative, whatever it is, a tax on all of them. It could potentially produce a tremendous amount of revenue that could be used to alleviate the problems with the states in this country and with individuals who are suffering immensely in this incredible economic downturn. Now, I also want to comment, that's the Tobin tax. I'll put some links over there. I also want to talk about the healthcare thing because it is still very big in the news. It's my considered opinion that the public option being put forward, okay, in the House bill that was passed already, is something that Obama had to do as sort of a token gesture towards the left and towards those people who really want single payer, which is never going to happen, at least not at this time. And you know, I support that. And in any case, the public option purposely put in the bill to be thrown out of it at a later time in a supposed gesture of trying to come to common ground, which it is a total and complete farce. The public option was only placed in there to be given up as a sacrificial goat, so that the entire insurance industry, the pharmaceutical industry, will continue to provide the health insurance, which will be mandatory for everybody to get. And whatever they want to charge you, they will. And if you think that there are going to be sufficient safeguards placed on the amount that your rates can be raised, you better think again, because it's not going to happen. And any idea of an affordable plan, a public option, is going to be completely thrown out the window. So I would urge everybody who is focused on this issue, for whatever your reasons, ignore ignore the chatter coming from the supposed right wing, okay, that want to say this is a government takeover of healthcare, which it certainly is not. It is the furthest fucking thing from a government takeover of healthcare. And also ignore the completely silent left, who should be clamoring for single payer, and they are not. Who should be clamoring because Medicare is going to suffer from a $500 billion cut to pay for this behemoth, and they are not. Ignore the chatter from all those groups and focus on what you think is important about this. And if you think it's a government takeover of healthcare and they drop the public option and you think that solves your problem, think again. This is a very important issue and it needs to be explored much further. And any attempt to pass something in the dead of night, which this in effect is, even if this debate goes on for another month or two, that is still not sufficient time for everybody's voice to be heard and for this issue to be settled to everybody's satisfaction. So stay on it and stay focused. And the other issue, the Tobin tax. Make Wall Street pay for all of the fucking shit they have taken from us, for the prosperity that they have. Goldman Sachs had a profit in the last quarter. Why do you think that was? It wasn't because they're doing good business. It was because they took billions of fucking dollars from the Federal Reserve and the Treasury, and they got billions from AIG. That's the only reason they got a profit. And if they're getting a profit on our fucking backs, they should have to pay. And that's why I support the Tobin tax. I hope you'll look into it, and I hope you'll make an effort to contact your congressman about that. I have one final thing to ask, and this is on a personal note. As you know, all sectors of the economy are suffering in these trying times. I work for the U.S. Postal Service. I'm going to ask you, if you care about the Postal Service, to contact your congressman, contact your senators, and tell them to support H.R. 22, which would alleviate the post office from the responsibility of prepaying into their retirement and health care funds, which no other federal agency has to do. At least alleviate them from the responsibility for a couple of years until we get over this mega recession, depression, whatever the fuck you want to call it, this economic tsunami. So as a final thing, if you care about your mail service and you think it's something that is good, as I do, it's not just because I work there, because I think you get a great deal with the Postal Service. Take some time to contact your congressman and tell them to support H.R. 22 and whatever efforts else they can do to preserve the U.S. Postal Service through these trying times. So, thank you for your attention, and good night.